Assalamualaikum and hi everyone. So in this video we are going to learn new subtopic in chapter 1, which is chapter 1.2 mole concept, specifically empirical and molecular formula. So by the end of this video, you should be able to define the term empirical and molecular formula, and then you should be able to determine the empirical and molecular formula from mass composition or combustion data. Okay, so that's mean over here you need to do some calculation, and then lastly you should be able to determine the molecular formula from experiment. Okay, so once you know how to calculate the molecular formula of a compound, you can apply that to determine the molecular formula of compound in experiment 1. Okay, so let us start with the definition. Empirical formula is a chemical formula that show the simplest ratio of atoms of the element present in a compound. Okay, so maksudnya dalam compound ada banyak atom kan. So number atom yang dalam compound tu adalah number yang telah diringkaskan. Okay, simplest ratio of atom. And that is the empirical formula. But for molecular formula adalah chemical formula that show the actual number of atom of each element in a molecule. Okay, so maksudnya kalau untuk molecular formula, bilangan atom dalam tu adalah bilangan atom yang sebenar. Okay, dia tak ringkaskan bilangan atom tu. Itu beza empirical formula and molecular formula. Okay, now let us look at the relationship between empirical formula and molecular formula. The relationship between empirical formula and molecular formula is molecular formula equal to empirical formula times n. Okay, whereby n is the positive integer. So, kenapa formula ni muncul? Sesuai lah dengan definition dekat atas ni. Sebab tadi kita cakap empirical formula is the simplest ratio of atom. Dia dah simplified kan formula. Dia dah simplified kan formula tersebut. Okay, tapi untuk molecular formula itu adalah actual number of atom yang ditunjukkan dalam tu. Okay, so nak tahu berapa actual number of atom dalam compound tu, kita kena ambil empirical formula darab dengan n. Okay, so kalau in certain cases, we need to determine what is n. Okay, so in order to determine n ni berapa, we need to take the molar mass, okay, the molar mass of the compound, okay, divide with the mass of empirical formula. Okay, kiranya molar mass untuk molecular formula divide with molar mass of empirical formula, then you should get the value of n. From the value of n, then you can identify the molecular formula. Alright, so let us look at this example here. Okay, so we will start with ethene lah. Okay, so let us start with ethene. Okay, ethene, as you can see, the empirical formula tadi kita cakap dia adalah yang simplest formula tadi tu. Okay, while molecular formula is the actual number of atom yang dalam formula tersebut. Okay, so dalam ethene, simplest formula dia ataupun empirical formula dia adalah CH2. But actually, the actual formula of ethene adalah C2H4. Okay, so if we compare C2H4 and CH2, actually CH2 ni kena darab 2 baru dapat C2H4. So, kiranya carbon ni darab 2 jadi C2. And then this hydrogen 2 darab 2, so jadi 4. Okay, so maksudnya di sini, the value of n is 2. Okay, so hopefully you can see here. Okay, so this one is the empirical formula. And then the subscript n here, subscript 2 here is n. Okay, so that is n. And then as a result, we will get the molecular formula. Okay, right. So next, let us move to benzene. Okay, benzene, the empirical formula is CH. Okay, tapi dia punya molecular formula dia adalah C6H6. There are 6 carbon and 6 hydrogen actually in benzene. Okay, hydrogen peroxide HO, but actually hydrogen peroxide, the molecular formula is H2O2. There are 2 hydrogen and 2 oxygen. Okay, and dia 2 lah kalau kita compare. Alright, and then for water, the empirical formula is the same as the molecular formula is still H2O. So the value of N is equal to 1. Okay, so if you find this a little bit confusing, then don't worry. Okay, so we are going to use this in our calculation later. So hopefully you can understand later on. Right, so let us move to this one. How to determine the empirical formula. So now we are going to go to the subtopic 1.2b. That means we are going to start to do some calculation. Okay, there are 3 calculation that I'm going to show you. Okay, so sebab apa 3? Sebab cara untuk determine empirical formula ada 3 jenis lah. Bergantung kepada jenis data yang diberikan. Okay, so if the question give you the mass of compound, dia ada cara dia. Okay, or if the question give you the percentage of composition of compound, dia ada cara dia yang lain pula. Okay, and yang cara yang ketiga ni adalah yang paling famous. Okay, dan selalu student problem sebab dia ada trik sikit lah. Okay, so by using the combustion data. Okay, so ada 3 jenis example yang saya akan tunjuk. Alright, so let us start with example 1. Okay, so example 1, 18.3 gram of sample hydrated compound contain 4 gram of calcium, 7.1 gram of fluorine and 7.2 gram of water only. Calculate its empirical formula. So, as you can see, data given adalah mass. Okay, mass yang dibagi adalah mass elemen calcium, chlorine dan juga mass untuk water. Okay. Since this is hydrated compound, okay, kalau kamu ingat hydrated compound itu apa? Hydrated compound is a compound that absorb water molecule from its environment and includes them in the part of their structure. Okay, so that means you will see a formula here yang ada formula and then ada dot H2O and ada berapa number dekat depan tu. So that is hydrated compound. Alright, for hydrated compound, tak apa, sama juga. Alright, so let us start. Okay, over here, kita dah ada table. Okay, saya dah tulis dah kosong dekat sini. Okay, so table dia, over here, you need to label. Okay, so in exam, you have to create your own table. And please make sure you remember the point that you need to write on your left. Okay, don't forget this. First, start with element. After that, mass and then number of mole. Okay, and then simplest ratio of mole. Lepas tu lastly adalah empirical formula. Right, so let us start with the element. Okay, we need to determine what kind of element yang ada. Okay, so tadi kita dah baca ada 3 jenis ni. So kita masukkan lah, sebab tu saya buat ada 3 column over here. Okay, this is actually element. Water is a molecule actually. So, sepatutnya kita kena separatekan H dan oxygen. But, since this is hydrated compound and we already know that the formula of hydrated compound is formula and then ada dot H2O, lepas tu ada number depan dia. So, since dia H2O, so kita akan kekalkan dia dalam bentuk H2O lah. Okay, so nanti kamu akan faham apa yang saya maksudkan dekat example yang seterusnya. Okay, so let us start with this one. So this is calcium, chlorine, water. Okay, so you can just write in formula. Right, and then next we need to fill in the mass from the data given. Okay, so data given mass of calcium is 4 gram. Okay, so since over here dah ada unit, so you don't have to write unit here. Okay, so it's either one lah. If you don't want to write the unit here, that means every single time you write the mass, you have to write the unit. Okay, remember, no unit, no mass. Okay, so please train yourself to write unit from now. Okay, alright, so this one 7.1 gram and this is 7.2 gram. Next, kita nak pergi number of mole. Okay, so still remember macam mana nak kira number of mole? So hopefully jangan lupa. Okay, so saya tulis formula over here. Okay, number of mole. Okay, ada banyak formula, ada 3 formula. But since we are given mass, ataupun GSIM in Malay, okay, so mass divide with molar mass lah. The unit of mass is gram. Okay, molar mass is gram per mole. Okay, so when you divide, okay, gram and gram will cancel out. So that means the unit left is mole. Okay, yang kita nak cari. Right, so this is the formula. Next, kita bahagilah. Okay, so 4 gram divide with calcium punya atomic mass. Okay, calcium punya atomic mass nak dapat mana? Okay, so this one you can look at the list of element yang saya bagi dalam Google Classroom kamu. Okay, so dekat bahagian notes ke tak silap saya ada list of elements itu. Jangan biasakan diri tengok predictable because in exam they will not give you predictable. Okay, they will give you a list of element. Okay, so 4 gram divide 40.1 gram. Press your calculator. Okay, so the answer is 0.09975. Okay, alright, so how many decimal places that you need to take? Okay, so for this calculation, specifically empirical formula, you have to make sure dekat part-part yang sini, you need to take at least 4 decimal places, 4 titik perpuluhan. But if you see answer like this, ada kosong dekat depan ni, kosong ni kan macam tak ada nilai sangat, so you can take 5 decimal places. Okay, alright, so this is the answer for number of mole of calcium. Okay, next adalah chlorine. Okay, so we need to do the same thing. 7.1 gram divide with the molar mass of fluorine, which is 35.5 gram per mole. Then press your calculator. You should get 0.2. Saya dapat exactly 0.20. Okay, so just leave the answer like that lah. Okay, alright, and then next one, H2O. Okay, 7.2 gram of H2O divide with, okay, molar mass of H2O, kena ingat lah, hydrogen 1, tapi since there are 2 hydrogen here, so 1 times 2 equal to 2, and then the molar mass of oxygen is 16. Okay, so 2 plus 16 equal to 18. Okay, so the molar mass of H2O is 18 gram per mole. Okay, so when you divide, you should get 0.4 mole. Okay, right, so settle. Next, we need to determine the simplest ratio of mole. Okay, so how to calculate the simplest ratio of mole? Okay, so over here, you need to compare all 3 number of mole. Okay, and determine which one is the smallest number of mole. Okay, yang mana yang paling kecil antara 3 ini? 0.4, ini 0.2. Okay, 0.2 is smaller than 0.4 lah. Okay, but if you compare 0.2 and this value 0.09975, this is way smaller than 0.2. Okay, so that means the smallest one is number of mole of calcium. Okay, that means every single mole here you need to divide with the smallest mole. So let us write note sikit. Okay, divide all number of mole with the smallest number of mole. Okay, so this is our notes here. Okay, dan next kita dah tahu dah apa kita nak buat. So 0.09975 divide with 0.09975 juga. So without pressing your calculator, you can determine the answer lah, equal to 1. Okay, so next one, 0.2 mole. Okay, so divide with 0.09975 mole. Okay, mole and mole cancel out. Ni pun sama actually if you want to write the unit. But unit is compulsory for final answer only. Okay, during your calculation tak tulis pun tak apa. Okay, so next one, tekan calculator. Okay, so we can guess the answer actually, tapi kita just confirm kan. Bila kita tekan calculator, kita dapat 2.0050. Okay, so 2.0050 is very close to 2 sebab dia ada kosong-kosong belakang ni. Okay, so instead of tulis 2.0, bolehlah kita tulis 2.0050. Then we can simplify kan, the answer is equal to 2 because it is very close to 2. Okay, so kita boleh buat macam tu. Tapi kalau jauh, ada cara dia tak boleh buat. Okay, please take note on this one. Okay, and then lastly for H2O, 0.4 mole divide with 0.9975 mole. 4.0100 mole. Okay, so this one pun sama lah. Okay, 4.01 is very close to 4, so we can just equal to 4. Okay, so as you can see, equal saya ni, saya buat like macam curve macam tu kan. Itu maksudnya this one dia maksud dia approximately equal to 4. Okay, Right, so now done. Okay, we have got all our ratio. Okay, and our ratio is all in whole number, tak ada yang dalam bentuk perpuluhan. So maksudnya we can determine the empirical formula straight away lah. So empirical formula, kalsium ada 1, so just write down Ca lah. Okay, Cl ada 2. Sebab apa ada 2? Sebab ni lah Cl ada 2. Okay, so Cl2. Okay, and then since this is hydrated compound, kan tadi saya cakap dia ada titik dekat sini. Okay, dot. Okay, and then how many H2O? Okay, so H2O, there are 4 H2O. So 4 H2O you have to write dekat depan. Okay, kenapa dekat depan? Sebab memang itu cara kita tulis formula for hydrated compound. Okay, so that's all for example 1.